Hey friends, there is a belief running underneath a lot of the spiritual work that I want to name today because I think it's quietly keeping a lot of people stuck. The belief is this: my body is the obstacle. My nervous system is too activated. My anxiety is too loud. My physical responses to stress are getting in the way of the real work, the energetic work, the spiritual work, the higher consciousness work. If I could just get my body under control, I could finally access what I'm here to access. Well, I want to offer you a complete reframe of that whole thing today. Your nervous system is not getting in the way of your awakening. Your nervous system is the awakening. Let me explain what I mean by that. The nervous system is the physical architecture through which consciousness experiences itself in a body. It is how you receive information, not just sensory information, not just emotional information, but energetic information, spiritual information, that hit that comes from nowhere, the knowing before the knowing, the felt sense that something is true before your mind has caught up to it yet. Your nervous system is the instrument, and like any instrument, it needs to be in tune to play accurately. When your nervous system is in chronic dysregulation, stuck in that threat response, flooded with cortisol, oscillating between hyperactivation and shutdown, it cannot accurately transmit or receive energetic information. Not because something is wrong with you spiritually, because the instrument is overwhelmed. Think about it this way. A piano that hasn't been tuned in years will play every note, but none of them will be accurate. The music is still there. The capacity is still there, but the transmission is distorted. That's what nervous system dysregulation does to spiritual perception. It doesn't block the signal, it distorts it, which is why people in chronic dysregulation often experience intuition that feels unreliable. They get hits that don't pan out. They can't tell the difference between genuine knowing and anxiety. They feel energetically overwhelmed without being able to sort what's theirs from what isn't. The instrument is playing. It just needs tuning. Now here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part that most spiritual content misses entirely. Nervous system regulation is not a prerequisite for spiritual work. It is spiritual work. When you do the work of returning your nervous system to safety, when you learn to move out of the threat response, when you develop the capacity to feel big feelings without being swept away by them, when you build the internal ground that lets you be present in your own body, you are not preparing for an awakening. You are already in it. Because here's what awakening actually is. It's the expansion of your capacity to be present with what is. To hold more light, more frequency, more information, more love, without your system collapsing under the weight of all of it. You cannot hold more than your nervous system can tolerate. And that's not a spiritual limitation. That's physics. A dysregulated nervous system is one that has learned, through experience, that the present moment is not safe, that the body is not a trustworthy place to live, that staying in sensation is dangerous. And it learned those things for a reason. Those adaptations were intelligent responses to real experiences. But those adaptations are now the ceiling on how much you can receive, how deeply you can go, how completely you can be here. The healing of the nervous system, the actual work of learning to feel safe in your own body, in the present moment, in contact with your own experience. That is the opening of the channel, not the preparation for it, but the thing itself. I want to speak directly to the empaths and highly sensitive people listening to this, because this is very important for you. Your nervous system is not more broken than other people's. It is more sensitive, which means it processes more sensation, more emotion, more energetic information than the average system was designed to handle without support. The dysregulation that you experience is not evidence of spiritual weakness. It's evidence of a highly calibrated instrument that has been running without the maintenance that it requires. You were built to feel more, to sense more, to receive more. The question was never whether you had the capacity. The question is whether your system is regulated enough to use that capacity without being overwhelmed by it. And the answer to that question is not more shielding, not more protection, not more trying to feel less. The answer is regulation, safety, being grounded, learning to come back to your body, learning to move the energy that gets stuck instead of storing it, learning that you can feel something fully without becoming it, learning that the present moment, this breath, this body, this ground beneath your feet, is actually okay. Here's what I've seen in my work over and over again. The people who make the biggest spiritual leaps are not the ones who found the most powerful practices. They're the ones who built the most stable ground. The ones who did the unglamorous work of learning to be present in their own bodies. Who addressed the nervous system regulation. Who healed the root wound. Who learned to feel safe enough to stay. Because presence is the portal, not the ascension practices, not the high-frequency transmissions, not the cosmic downloads, although all of those have their place. It's presence, the capacity to be fully here, in this moment, in this body, without fleeing. That's where the awakening lives. And your nervous system is the door. So if you've been treating your nervous system like a problem to manage on the way to your real spiritual work, I want to invite you to reconsider. The regulation is the work. The healing is the awakening. The body is not in your way. It was always the path.